South Africa is Africa's third biggest economy. With the economy stagnant and the unemployment rate at record highs, the need for entrepreneurship is becoming more and more important. As Global Entrepreneurship Week comes to a close on Sunday, entrepreneur Adam Molai argues it's important to acknowledge that many of Africa's entrepreneurs are not of the right kind. So what are the challenges and how do we find solutions? Well, we do have him on the line to answer that question and more. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Adam. And let's perhaps start with the notion of the current state of entrepreneurship, not just in South Africa, but on the African continent in its entirety. The challenges and the issues in this space, what are you finding?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show. I think one of the greatest issues I've seen in terms of entrepreneurship is that we've really had necessity entrepreneurship on the continent, and we haven't taken deliberate measures to try and create the type of opportunity entrepreneurs that actually sit at looking forward and developing businesses of the future. So entrepreneurship is really being seen as a stopgap measure. If you look in the past, those who failed and couldn't get a job as a nurse, as a lawyer, as a teacher, ended up, trying to, as we call it, hustle and find a way to earn an income for themselves. So it was never really about developing a business that provides a solution and which solution we then monetize. It was really about a survivalist mentality. And unfortunately, that's the way that entrepreneurship is still looked at on the continent.
Yeah, and you're actually quite critical in your engagement on that particular point, because you're just saying that the African entrepreneurs, in fact, just don't have what it takes to grow the economic pie. The businesses or the hustles that are being created aren't necessarily the ones that are going to be creating jobs at a scale that we need as an African continent, or developing new skills and taking on technological advancements. So then what needs to happen here?
Look, I think it really starts with a mind shift. If we look today, we still call it a side hustle, which means we are not looking at entrepreneurship as a mainstream. If you look today, when we have career fairs, you'll have career fairs for accountants, career fairs for lawyers, but there's no career fairs for entrepreneurship. So one of the first things is, one, we need to make sure that from a mindset level, we actually start to see it as a mainstream activity. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we actually need to deliberately start to develop the skills, even from a primary level, where young children are taught to go and find what problems they're facing in the home and come back with solutions as part of their curriculum, mm-hmm. and then find answers, find solutions to those problems, and then find how they monetize and get paid for those solutions that they're providing. And as you start to go up and go into high school, you then should be exposed to more STEM-related challenges. So your science, your technology, your engineering and maths-related type of challenges, which then facilitate, the creation of solutions, which go into the technologies that you're talking about, which go into finding new ways of solving old problems and monetizing those ways. So I think for me, it's more of a behavioral issue. We have to change our mindset. We have to stop looking at entrepreneurship as a side activity and actually mainstream it. And when we look also from an institutional level, I think when we look at supporting entrepreneurs, we need to stop thinking of it as just providing capital. So if we provide them with money, therefore the problem is solved. I think it goes a lot beyond that. It goes into development, and it goes into paying for success, as I'd like to call it, which is incentivizing entrepreneurs to create more jobs, giving them tax breaks when they do, converting their loans to grants when they create more jobs, and generally looking at local investment in the same way we look at foreign direct investment. So giving the same incentives. Today, if as a local entrepreneur, I want to set up a business, I won't have the incentives that a foreign investment will get. And therefore, those savings from those incentives make their product cheaper than mine would be at a local level. So those are some of the structural issues which our governments need to look at so that our own local entrepreneurs are as competitive as the foreign direct investment which our governments are always chasing and touting.
Certainly a conversation that we need to continue and thresh out, Adam, but that's all the time we have for now. That is African industrialist and founder of TRT Investments, Adam Molai, joining us to speak about entrepreneurship and really creating opportunity entrepreneurs and not necessity entrepreneurs.